أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. It's an important topic, and as you know, 30 minutes on my side, and then we'll have the same with our brother on the practical dimension. I will try to speak about the framework and the understanding of Islam with which we have to be equipped when it comes to civic engagement. Let me say something about, many where I was, frustrated yesterday because we want to say more and we don't have time. So you know that I started, and this is something that I want you to be involved in it, because I think that this will be the new way for me to be in touch with my brothers and sisters, which is this live webcam and live stream. Every month now through my website, tarikramadan.com, I'm giving a lecture on different topics, and in this year it's about freedom and liberations. So every month, if you follow this on the website, you will get that, which is also something that I want my brothers and sisters to be involved, and I'm also asking you to send articles on any topic, and we are going to publish this. This is also something that if you are writing, just please be involved. It's also a way of being engaged and being committed through the website and through the Facebook official page. After this meeting, I will also be at a booth signing books, but more importantly, what I'm trying also to do is we have in June a summer school with CILE, the Center for Islamic Legislation and Ethics, where we are going to have 1 week of teaching around specific issues on ethics, Islamic law, and sensitive contemporary issues. So if this is something which is interesting for you, it will be also at the booth. It will be in Granada, the symbolic city. Now, if I come to the topic, the very short introduction, 3 main points as Muslims that we know that, in fact, to be a Muslim, to say La ilaha illallah means that you have to be committed, because the very understanding of our religion, and we keep on repeating this, is الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, those who believe and do good deeds. And we know that to do good deeds is referring to the verse that was quoted, referring to our understanding of the community of the middle path, is تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. So you promote what is right, resist what is bad, and you believe in God, and your visibility on earth, wherever you are in this country or elsewhere, is through you promoting what is good and resisting what is bad. We know this. And in fact, all our understanding of Islam is around 2 notions. The first one is shahada. Shahada is I testify that there is only one God and that I believe in the last messenger, peace be upon him. Shahada is what makes us Muslims. Sharia is what makes us remaining Muslims. And in fact, Shahada wa Sharia, Shahada is to be a Muslim, Sharia is to remain a Muslim. And to be a Muslim meaning the way we have to behave, in the very deep understanding. So be careful, you living in the United States, and for all of us in the West, we have to be very, very clear on the concepts that we are using. Sharia is not the penal code. Sharia is not cutting hands. Sharia is not imposing onto others a legal framework. Sharia is a path. Sharia is how do we remain faithful to the Islamic principles and the Islamic objectives. And everyone in this room should be equipped with this understanding when it comes to Sharia. It is how I remain Muslim. And when, for example, I respect the American Constitution, where in this American Constitution it is said in theory, it's not always the case in practice, that whoever you are, black and white, you have the same rights and the same duties before law. This is your Sharia in this country. Why? Because this is completely the way Muslims should understand وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ, that human beings are dignified and we are all equal before law. Poor or rich, black or white, whatever, Muslims or not Muslims, we should be treated equally by law. And this is why we understand our Sharia. So we don't have a problem with this very narrow understanding of Sharia being an alien system to the American system. No, Sharia is based on universal shared principles, and whatever it's coming from people who are not Muslims but respecting and confirming our principles, this is our Sharia. So we are in fact respecting the society and the legal framework in the United States, not because it's an obligation against our faith, but it's an obligation in the name of our faith. As Muslims, you understand the very understanding that we belong to these principles. Now, having said that, what is important is what does it mean now when we understand? We have this very deep understanding and open understanding of what Sharia is. What does it mean in practice? And very often, as Muslims and as Muslim Americans, you are called to be committed and to be engaged in your society. So let me start by something that you are not expecting. Let me tell you what civic engagement is not. What should not be understood as civic engagement is, let us take the other side of the picture. Why am I saying this? Because I have been dealing with brothers and sisters over the last 30 years, and when you have to assess, many things are understood and some critical dimensions are not. So the first point. The first point is, let us be clear. When you live in this country, and you are committed to change this country for the better, الأمر بالمعروف والنهي عن المنكر, as Muslims, all these activities are within a vision, within a specific understanding of your life. So be careful. When you are committed and you enter into social activities, political activities, there is something that you have never to forget, that civic engagement is not only about actions, is actions within a vision. And the vision is always to remember the purpose of your life. Take a step back and think about it. Why are you doing what you are doing? الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, He created death and life in order to try you in what He gave you. The very understanding of our commitments within the society is never to forget the goals, the purpose. And one day death is coming. And we are doing this because of the very meaning of our life. And you have to renew your intention when you do this. Why? Because sometimes, even with solidarity actions, you can be lost. You can lose the track. You can lose the vision. You can forget the very meaning of what you are doing. As Muslims, this could be shirk. At the end, you do good deeds because you are pleasing the society and not for Ridha Allah, which is essential here. Even in solidarity, we have to be careful. Why? Because sometimes the way you pray is more for the community than for Allah. Even in your prayer, it could be shirk, riya. So if you can do this with your prayer, you can do this with your activities. Check that. So civic engagement is not only about actions, it's actions within a vision, and this vision is essential because what is important in this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. We gave dignity to human being, but He's saying, إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ, the one who has who is the more dignified atqakum, the one who has this God consciousness, this closeness to Allah. So it's about educating. So be careful. It's not only dealing with the dignity, it's to educate yourself to have this taqwa in what you do. It means show solidarity, but never forget the goals. Never forget the purpose. Why? Because sometimes, I have been dealing for 20 years in South America, in Africa, in India, with people who have the same principles of solidarity, but sometimes you can feel that at the end we don't have the same purposes. That sometimes the way they deal with solidarity, there is something which is we give, and there is some arrogance in the way we give. In Islam, taqwa is different. Is you give out of humility because you never forget Him. So your commitment to Allah, this is the true active spirituality we are talking about. Spirituality is don't forget the goals. Why? Because this is why you look with your two eyes. You know the signs of the end of life, the end of this time is what? Al-Mahdi, Antichrist is coming, like looking with one eye only. Solidarity for the sake of solidarity, not solidarity for the sake of Him, for Allah. So this is essential in the way you are here in this society. It purifies your intentions. And this is the backdrop, this is the background, this is the essence, this is the light, this is nur in what you do. And be careful, if you don't get that, you might be not equipped, because you are facing people who are very attractive in their actions, not always noble in their intention. And this is humanity. So we have to be careful in this, and this is an important point when it comes to check your intention. I'm saying this also because I have seen so many brothers and sisters at the end, when they are involved in these activities and they are not equipped, they are losing track. And some are looking for positions. Some are looking for money. Some are looking for power. Some are completely lost as to, yes, we came with our heart and our solidarity, and at the end, we are looking with solidarity to some social positions, recognitions. Some of our sisters and brothers entering, and at the end they are lost. They came with principles, and to forget the principles because they are with people who are not acting in a way where there are principles in the way we dress, in the way we behave, in the way we interact. Be careful. So many sisters entering in social activities with the headscarf, ending without it. So many brothers coming with a clear understanding of what it means to be a Muslim, and at the end lost as to the principles. You have to be equipped. We have to be very cautious, because the good heart that you have in solidarity, if you don't have the clear principles, good heart without clear principles could end up with heart without principles, without the light, without the direction. We have to be equipped. I have seen too many brothers and sisters entering in good activities, good perception of what should be done, but not equipped in spiritual terms. So this is something which is important. The second, which once again is very important, when you enter into, civic engagement, you should give to people. You should show, your solidarity and that you care about people. But be careful. In Islam, there is something which is essential. Help the others, never forget yourself. Never forget yourself, because one day you will come back, and if you give and you don't care about your own heart, you are going to lose everything. Care about yourself. Educate yourself in what you give. And the quality of what you give is the way of this quality you will get with Allah. Because your true freedom with Him, that you are doing this for the sake of Allah, is helping you to have this pure solidarity and recognition of the rights of your brothers and sisters in humanity. It's essential. It's essential because this is also where, the true generosity will be revealed by the way you deal with yourself. And the way you deal yourself is the way you deal with your own ego. True generosity is shown by the way you treat your ego. And if your ego is there, want to be thanked, you don't get it. Because in Islam, you should never ask for being rewarded. يطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وأسيرا إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. To get that level, that we are not expecting from you thanks and reward, means that you deal with yourself in the way you are educating yourself. You can't get at that level if you are not educating yourself. And you will see that many people around you, they can do this and they are expecting. And you should not. And this is a struggle. When you are helped, you never forget to thank. But when you help, you don't expect to be thanked. That's Islam. So this is where you are equipped. And this is something which is essential in our understanding. So civic engagement is not about being engaged on this level. The third thing that I wanted today to say is be careful. Because there is a deep shirk in the whole business of being engaged in America, for example. Many of our brothers and sisters, and civic engagement is not about this. It's not about pleasing your neighbor. You know, I'm a Muslim, I'm going to do things to show them that we are good Muslims. That's not the point. As Muslims, you do this for the sake of Allah, and you do what you have to do, not to please your neighbor, but to please Him. And many brothers and sisters, in the way they are so, there is so much a lack of confidence, and we are not confident with our values that we want to please the people. You know what it means to please the people before thinking of pleasing Him? This is a shirk al-khafi. A shirk al-khafi means that many people, when sometimes I talk and say, wow, you know how to talk to non-Muslims, and they are very happy because the non-Muslims like it. Are you here to please the people, or are you here to please Him? And I'm telling you something, the way you please Him will please the people. But you have to put the priorities, to know who you are serving first. Rid Allah is essential here, and civic engagement is not, I'm engaged in the American society because I want my fellow American citizens to be pleased with me, to accept me, to tolerate me. I don't care. If I do what I have to do, they are going to respect me. They are going to be pleased with my presence. But first, I have to be clear and to have this confidence that I have to do the job for Him. And for Him means the best in the sight of God is the best for human beings. So this is the essential dimension here that we have to get. And the fourth thing is, civic engagement and our commitment is not about only generosity and heart. It's not about, having a good heart. No. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adl. Allah commands justice. It means never replace rights with showing solidarity. Struggle for rights, it's a duty as a citizen, and you have to be clear on this. If you are against racism, if you are against social injustice, it's not with your heart, it's with your mind, with your status as citizens. Civic engagement is not only something which has to come with our goodwill. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not talking like this in the Quran. He's talking about duties, He's talking about rights. And even to the poor people. في أموالهم حق معلوم means that this is their right. It's not, pity or charity. No, it's not charity. Zakat is not about charity. Zakat is about their right and your duty. And you have to come with this understanding. It's not about only my heart. It's about my intelligence. It's about my status. It's the way I look at this life, which is based on rights and based on duties. So, once again, civic engagement is not only to talk about solidarity, show that you are nice and good. No, it has to do with understanding your status. It has to do with the very understanding of faith as Islam is asking us to do. Now, fifth things, and I will come to some of the fields, and then we'll come to the practicalities of that with the second talk. Civic engagement also, it's wide. It's not with your mind only, it's not with your heart only, it's all together, understanding your status as citizens. First, understanding your status as human being. And the poor have rights, and you have duties and rights at the same time. But civic engagement, it's also about understanding the culture around you. Civic engagement is also about promoting culture and arts. We always think about civic engagement in the field of socio-economic problems, politics. No. Civic engagement is about celebrating our common culture, celebrating imagination. Why? Because civic engagement and being committed in your society is something which is essential. Come back to Al-Isfahani, come back to Al-Farabi, come back to Abu Hamid Al-Ghazali, come back to Ibn Taymiyyah, come back to our great scholars. And there is one notion that we are not tackling enough, which is happiness, which is intimate peace. And this is essential. How am I going to feel good in America if I don't have this sense of feeling good? How am I going to get that? By being engaged in the cultural field. I should feel good where I am. Not having my body here, my heart somewhere else, and not feeling good and just dealing with halal haram. No, halal haram mubah. Mubah is the first. Al-aslu fil ashya al-ibaha. The first principle is permission. So give me this permission. Give me something that is helping me to feel good. And part of the civic engagement is I belong to my principles and I feel good where I live. Give me these two dimensions, my principles and feeling good. This sense of happiness, of salamat al-nafs, al-itmi'nan, which is this peaceful state, essential. Civic engagement has also to do with this, because any human being, any believer should get or has the right to get this inner peace and this salamat al-nafs, to feel good wherever we are. We're not going to be American Muslims and Muslim American in the United States of America and always feeling bad. Are we struggling to feel good? And to feel good means that the people are respecting us. Feeling good is our modes of communication and imagination are helping us also to feel good in this society. Last point, it's also important that our civic engagement, as we are always saying, a global understanding and a local commitment. Wherever you are, you live in Chicago, you live in New York, you live wherever you live, your engagement, your commitment should be at the local level. But the local level means also that you have to understand what is happening at the local level, you have to understand what is happening at the national level, and you have to be concerned at the international level. Civic engagement is not, you know what? I'm going to keep quiet on what we are doing in Palestine, in what we are doing in Africa. I'm just going to be a good American here. A good American here, neglecting what is happening there, don't get it. And your responsibility is to get the three level. Committed here to understand the society and to be involved in something which is international concern. Not only about Muslims. Civic engagement of Muslims is not to care only about Muslims. It's to care about human beings. And be careful with this. Anyone who is coming to you and telling you, you know what, this is modern Islam, that's wrong. In the 14th century, 15th century, we had scholars saying, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحبه لنفسه. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya is saying, okay, it's 10 or 15? By saying, we are talking about al-ukhuwa al-insaniyya. Al-ukhuwa al-insaniyya is that you are brothers and sisters in humanity. So our solidarity and civic engagement means you have to be as a physician. A physician, when someone is coming to him and have a disease, you don't ask about his religion or her religion. You don't ask about, and you don't consider his or her color, black, Asian, white. It doesn't matter, and the social status doesn't matter. This is where Muslims in the United States are going to show that they get it. It's not about forgetting myself. It's to be equipped with my principle, to avoid the shirk, is to be committed at the local level, getting the whole picture, is to consider culture, and all these dimensions that we have to be involved and that we have to be dealing with as Muslims, and this is something which is important in our understanding. So it's talking about the political, the cultural, and the economic challenges, socio-economic challenges. Now, if you read and you came to this session, and this will be the second part, we are going to talk about the practical fields where we have to be engaged. And just to come to my conclusion, because once again, all what I'm saying here is critical, because I sometimes feel that some Muslims are engaged, but they are not equipped. So we need to know what civic engagement is not. It's not about being, active and not getting this vision, this understanding. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, فَذَكِّرْ, means remember. Remember, whatever you do, spirituality in action is, why are you doing what you are doing? To please them, to please Him. To work for justice and not to replace solidarity. The people who are, we have states that are not doing the job and they're asking us to show solidarity. Yes, we are going to show solidarity, but we are calling for justice. This is our role in this society. Now, where we have to be involved, three things that I want to add. The first thing is, as Muslim Americans, we should not be only concerned with Islam, and I repeated this, I have been repeating this for the last 30 years. As Muslims, we care about principles and objectives and goals that are universal. And it means that all the fields should be covered. You have your children, and the great majority of your children are in state school, in the state school system. Yes, we have maybe some Islamic schools, but at the end, the great majority are within the state school system. You have to be involved in anything which has to do with education. Education means how the teachers are trained, what are the curriculum, in which way we deal with schools and the neighborhood. All these dimensions are your dimension, and you have to be involved in schools. You have to be involved as well in local government, as it was said. It has to do with politics. It has to do with the way the local authority are dealing with you. And we have not, I heard the governor, I heard the people yesterday celebrating him, and that's good. But at the end, it's not only a good governor. Somebody is good not because he's good with Muslims. He's good with justice. He's caring about, principles. He's caring about poor people. And as Muslims, it's not for him only to come when we pray because it's an electorate and the people are waiting for you to vote for him. No. We are not people to be bought because we are not going to sell ourselves. No. We are not going to sell ourselves. It's like that we care about principles. So anyone who is going good, we are going to support him. But not only good for Muslims, it's good for the society, good for our principles. And he cares about, or she cares about justice, not only for us. We are not here to ask for privileges. We are here to change this society for the better, and it's not only for us, it's for everybody. So when it comes to health, and you have this problem in this society, you have to be involved. We have to be involved with civil rights. All these struggles are yours. Don't only quote, Dr. King or Malcolm X or Mandela. You should be the people in this society being involved in civil rights. And you have to be involved in anything which has to do with racism in this society. You have something which a corrupt system when it comes to racism in this society. Where are you? Where is your message as Muslims? Muslim Americans are against racism. No, you know what? We are colonized by this ourselves. Sometimes in our community, we confirm something which is wrong in the whole system. Instead of changing America for less racism, we are colonized by more racism in our community as Muslims. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. It means that we have to be involved in this discussion as citizens. And when I came 3 weeks ago here, I was with Iman, the organization, trying to work with African American and people from different communities. This is what we have to do at the grassroots level. We have to be involved. Let me tell you something very quickly and to end here. This is at the local level, but also having a national understanding, a comprehensive approach, but we also have to be involved in international issues. International issues is, you, American citizens, you should understand that you are going to vote for the next president. You are going to vote for the people at the local level. And anything which has to do with your country will have an impact on the world, not only here. So when it comes to questioning your people and your politicians about Palestine, about Africa, about Burma, I was asked to talk about this because I think that this is the neglected story. Burma, and there is a task force who are the people who are supporting now. We don't talk about this. We are very. Last 2 weeks ago, I was going to talk to Aung San Suu Kyi. She was in the same room, and I was prevented to do so. I wanted to tell her, you know what? 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I was with the people in Geneva calling for your liberation and to tell you that you are the dignified person in Burma. To come now and to listen to your silence when it comes to the Rohingya, that's not acceptable. I'm sorry to tell you, when all the people are celebrating you, I don't celebrate your silence. Your silence is not dignified. So we and you as Americans, you have to be involved with this, about Palestine, about Africans, about what is happening in everywhere, wherever you can say this, it's important. And the last word here is, please be this added value wherever in all the fields that you are tackling, but you have to be equipped, you have to be determined, but please, please, please be careful. Solidarity, civic engagement are important means if and only if we have the principles at the beginning and the objectives at the end. And in between the two, we know exactly what we want to do, to serve him and to change the world for the better. Al-amru bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar is this, and not to be lost in activities where we are active but we don't know our way. Wallahu a'lam wa a'la wa ahkam wa assalamu alaikum.